Moving to Boston and thinking about buying a home, well, that is a process you do not want to go into blind. In today's market, having the right protection is everything, from putting in the right offer, to negotiations, to inspections, to even after closing. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through exactly how I protect my buyers so they can avoid costly mistakes, buyer's remorse, and be able to move into their new home with confidence. Let's jump in. Hey there, I'm Mike O'Brien. I'm a Boston real estate agent focused on helping buyers make the smart, safe, and successful move here to the Boston area. Boston is a wonderful place to live, but like any housing market, it has its surprises, its obstacles, its pitfalls. I want to make sure you don't get caught off guard. So here's exactly how I protect my buyers through every step of the home buying journey. Now, your home search may have officially kicked off, but before we even really go and start looking at homes, we need to build a smart plan. You may have heard of the adage before, this quote, when you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. I can't tell you how many people have rushed out into their home search and start looking at homes before they even know what they really want, what they can afford, and where they should be looking for both of those things. So any good home search is going to begin with a discussion, a strategy session, a consultation, a conversation, whatever you want to call it, so you can start to figure out how your home search should look, how you can prepare, how you can strategize to make sure you're finding the opportunities for success. So what does this conversation, this discussion look like? What are we talking about? Well, we're going to be figuring out your timeline and your budget. Do you have the flexibility to wait for that perfect home to appear or come to market in the neighborhoods you're looking for? Do you need to find something a little more quickly? So do we need to expand our search maybe a little bit outside of those initial neighborhoods or cities that you were focused your search in on? Speaking of budget, what can you afford? We're going to determine and lock in your financing, whether that's going to be getting your pre-approval for a mortgage or having proof of funds for a cash buy. Any offer here in Boston, really any housing market, is going to have your either proof of funds or your pre-approval included. So determining your budget, because really determining your budget is really almost the first step that needs to happen in that preparation. So you know where to look, what you can afford in certain neighborhoods, what you can afford in terms of the types of houses or condos or multifamilies you're looking for. Locking in that financing, locking in that budget, locking in that timeline is going to shape your search accordingly. And from there, we're going to review different markets, the trends there, so we know what you can find in your desired neighborhoods. Or do we need to look outside? We want this particular house, but we can't find it at this price in this neighborhood, so we're gonna have to maybe look over here for this. Or hey, listen, we really want to live in this particular area. Okay, so we need to adjust what we're looking for there to make sure it fits with our search, our budget, and all the criteria involved. So planning up front means that when we move with purpose, we move with power, and we move with success. Now, after we had that discussion about your home search, what you're looking for, the financing, all those details, I want to start to walk you through this Boston housing market and what you can expect. It's a very fast-paced, tight inventory time. And so in this instance, I would say knowledge is power. I'm a firm believer that knowledge is power. And the more you know about the Boston market, the particular neighborhoods or areas, and the housing market in those sections, the more successful we're going to be with our search. So we'll talk about how far your dollar will go for a particular home in this neighborhood, or how much bang for your buck you'll get for that type of home in that neighborhood. We'll talk about offer strategies. We'll talk about crafting an offer. Trust me when I say that the offer with the highest offer price is not always the one that gets accepted. There are lots of different tips and tools and tricks you can use to strategize your offer, make it as strong as possible, and get it accepted. Again, it's not always the numbers at the top of the page, well, technically the middle of the page, but not always the largest number is that gets accepted. Again, a lot of different ways to make your offer the strongest possible. I want to talk about what's realistic when it comes to your search in a particular Boston neighborhood or in Boston overall. If you're looking for a single family with a backyard, big backyard in downtown Boston, you might be hard pressed to find that. It just doesn't exist. If you're looking for a 4-bedroom, 4-bath condo with central air, garage parking for less than $400,000, that property is not going to avail itself on the MLS anytime soon. So again, want to make sure you know what to expect. Knowledge is power, because when you're knowledgeable on the Boston market and the Boston housing market, it helps with your expectations, so you're never frustrated when it comes to your search and not being able to find what you were hoping to find or looking to find. And it also helps protect your wallet, so you're not overpaying for something in a particular market. So again, knowledge is power and education the key to your home search. So I want to take a moment to talk a little about the home search itself and really searching for a home, because how I go about that and my process may be a little bit different than some others. So what I like to do is, after that initial conversation and strategy session, I take all that information we talked about, the criteria for the home you're looking for, the price range, the different neighborhoods, cities, towns, what have you. I take all that and I set up a search for myself on the MLS. And what this allows is I receive an email every morning, bright and early, with the potential matches that have hit the market for your home search. It allows me to go through those and scour those potential matches. Now, just because they check the boxes or fit the criteria on paper doesn't mean they're a good match. Just because it has 3 bedrooms doesn't mean always that those bedroom sizes are true bedrooms. There may be 3 bedrooms on the page and maybe 3 bedrooms technically, but are you using that really office size space for a bedroom? So again, it allows me to go through these matches individually and make sure they're fitting what you're looking for. And if I do find a particular match, I will send off an email or text special. Hey, please check this out. Let me know what you think of it, good, bad, or in between. And you can let me know, hey, Mike, great match. Tell me more. Or not so much, and here's why. And then I'm able to take that information and further hone our search accordingly. And what I also like to do is include you on that search. Why? So you're seeing what I'm seeing. Again, I'm just a human being. My opinion is my opinion. It's all subjective. And so when I send you off something special, it's because I think it's going to be a good match, but maybe you see something that I didn't. And then you can reach out to me and say, hey, Mike, we saw this. What do you think? So I'm able to answer any questions you might have, gather any more information you're looking for, or point out any red flags that you need to consider. So really it becomes a little bit of a teamwork here, and you get to take some ownership of the search as well. So between you and me, we're making sure we're seeing everything and finding the best potential matches for your home search. Now, once we're out physically searching homes ourselves during a private showing, open house, tour, what have you, I like to point out, of course, the positives and the highlights of the home, but I also like to point out any red flags you need to take into consideration as well. Now, I am not a licensed home inspector. I should not be conducting an inspection for you. I cannot tell you that problem X is because of Y. I cannot definitively say that this issue is because of that. Again, any licensed home inspector should answer those questions for you. But as an agent, I do have experience and may notice some things that you may not during a home tour or private showing. So whether it's cracks you need to take note of or take into consideration, odors, moisture issues. I'm someone who likes to get a little down and dirty when it comes to touring a home, so I'll get into the utility area, check the ages of the hot water heater, the HVAC system. I like to get under the sinks in the bathroom or the kitchen, see if there's any water stains, maybe signs of plumbing issues in the past. If given the opportunity, I'll turn on the shower, the sink, and flush the toilet all at the same time to see if there's any issues with the water pressure. So again, I like to really go through the home with you with a fine-tooth comb and just make sure that you're taking into consideration or noting any issues that should be answered by a home inspector or need to be checked out one way or another down the line. So we'll talk a little bit about issues to take into consideration when you're putting in an offer, when you're getting your offer accepted and closing on the home. So what you need to know and take into consideration for the here and now, but also for resale value. So are there things that need to be replaced not only for your benefit right now, but for the resale value and the value of the home 5, 10, 15 years down the road, be it the roof or again the HVAC system, plumbing, what have you. And so you know the quality of the home and the risks or red flags involved. So you're going to walk in with eyes wide open. So again, this all comes back to knowledge is power. The more you know about the home, the better you can feel about the purchase and the safer you can feel about the purchase as well. So another way I try and help my buyers during the home search is by helping them navigate the timing of things. Because I'm not sure if you heard, but Boston's housing market a little fast-paced right now. And so it's a matter of looking at recent trends, recent sales cycles, and see if we can time up or line up your timing as best as possible. Now, the planets never really completely align, but we do our best looking at that data, again, to make sure we line up the timing as best as possible. Now, sometimes it's as simple as saying, hey, the spring market is the highest competition, the most competitive time in terms of home searching and buyers trying to find a home. Maybe we want to avoid that if possible. Or hey, can we keep our home search going during the end of the summer or the holiday months when other buyers, other people are distracted, and maybe we can find opportunities for success. And sometimes you have to dive a little bit deeper, and maybe you're finding that May has seen buyer activity really drop back a little bit between Mother's Day and graduation weekend here in Boston and Memorial Day weekend. Again, the buyer activity is just kind of reeled back or dropped off a little bit. Maybe we can take advantage of some condos or some homes that have lingered on the market a little longer than they should, and we can take advantage of this lower buyer activity. So whether you need to move now or just planning ahead, we're going to strategize accordingly so you're never feeling too rushed or like you're waiting too long. Now quickly, just because not all homes in Boston are created equal. You have condos, you have multifamilies, triple deckers, double deckers, you have old Victorian brownstones, you have newer builds, a lot of new construction happening here, new development happening here in Boston. So each has its own pros, cons, quirks, costs, everything in between. So I'll break down what type of property is going to match your goals, whether you're downsizing or upsizing or your first time home buyer. Again, we're going to break down and figure out what makes the most sense for you, because maybe you're looking for, I don't know, an old Victorian brownstone, a beautiful old Victorian brownstone, but you really want central air. Sometimes that doesn't marry. Not all Victorian brownstones have central air installed because it's very expensive and difficult to install central air in a building that is brownstone that's 200, 300 years old, for example. Maybe you're looking for a 2,000 square foot home, but 900 of that square footage is in a finished basement. Now, whether that should be included in the total square footage is another debate, another conversation for another time, but we'll go through, again, what property is going to make the most sense for you. We'll talk about condo fees, if applicable, maintenance responsibilities, maintenance costs, and what you're really buying into. So with me, you're not just buying a home, you're making sure you're choosing the right home for your goals and your lifestyle. I want to take that last topic and kind of combine it with a topic from earlier in this video, because Boston's charm, or part of its charm, it's definitely in its history, definitely in its historic homes. But with those older homes, definitely come some surprises at times. So I want to help you spot those potential issues like outdated wiring or foundation cracks or those ancient systems, HVAC or otherwise, before they cost you. So that's when we bring in the pros, and they're going to help guide you through what's worth fixing, what can be fixed down the road, what you need to budget for. Again, planning, preparing, strategizing, budgeting accordingly. And so you find out what you need to handle immediately, maybe what's worth skipping for now, or maybe skipping altogether, and what can be planned for down the road. So nothing wrong with having a project when it comes to an older home. That is, unless you don't want a project. So want to make sure that you know the difference between a project you can handle and want to handle and a project you completely want to avoid and let someone else deal with. So want to make sure at the end of the day that you are avoiding the common pitfalls or some of the pitfalls when it comes to these older Boston homes, and we bring in the pros and make sure that you're educated accordingly. So we now come to the closing process, somewhat appropriately towards the closing of this video, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but the home buying process is different in Massachusetts than some other states. And really the home buying process is different from state to state, and it's unique here in Massachusetts. It has its own set of rules. So the home buying process, to begin, is a two-step offer process. So again, going to guide you through the initial offer and getting that accepted, and then getting to purchase and sale. And the best way I can describe these two steps, if the offer is kind of the cocktail napkin agreement, the purchase and sale is the official contract that says that you are buying this property and the seller is selling it to you. So between offer accepted and purchase and sale, you have your inspections, you have any negotiations that need to happen. And so offer accepted and then purchase and sale is when you're officially going to be buying this property. And again, the seller is going to be selling it to you. So we'll coordinate with attorneys for all that legalese and all that paperwork you're going to need for the purchase and sale and for the title search to protect your legal and financial interests. Again, between myself and my transaction coordinator and the attorney and the inspector and this entire team that we put together, going to make sure that no detail is missed so you can close at the end of the day, or really maybe the beginning of the day or the middle of the day, whenever closing is, but you can close with confidence and there's no last minute surprises. So that is yet another way that we protect our buyers and make sure that they are closing and purchasing their dream home without any regrets and feeling confident doing so. And that's how I guide and protect my clients through every step of the home buying process, the ups and downs, the in-betweens, the big decisions of buying a home here in Boston. So if you're planning a move or just starting to explore, I'd love to be your go-to expert. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram at Mike O'Brien Homes. You can also email me directly at mikeobrienhomes@gmail.com. Got any questions? Drop them in the comments below. I read every one. And make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss any of the videos we put out or another Boston home buying tip. But don't just stop there. Tap right here to check out my Moving to Boston playlist so you never miss any of my local neighborhood tours, relocation tips, and buyer's insights. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and we'll see you in Boston sometime soon.